Hello, everybody, and welcome to Turn 1. I'm Sean Fitz. Tonight, the Ohio Sim Racing Xfinity crew take on Iowa out here in the cornfields of the Midwest. Lane Hosler, Aaron Jackson, Cody Jaberg, Ryan Pelfrey, Alan Marshall, your top five. Then it's Scott Formosa, Steve Whitmore, Russ Despain, Derek Grigsby, and Brian Torrey make up the 10-car field. Hosler's been on a tear here, looking to bring home another victory tonight. He's going to start on that inside of Aaron Jackson. Pace car's going to head home down to the start zone. The green flag back out. And we're underway here at Iowa for OSR Xfinity action. Hosler gets out free and clear over Aaron Jackson. Jackson's got Pelfrey hanging on to the right front, or I'm sorry, the right rear as they roll out of turn number 4 to take the first lap. Pelfrey's going to get clear of Jackson. Now Jackson's feeling some pressure from Cody Jaberg. Then the 21 car. He's going to look right underneath that 12 machine. And some of these drivers on full attack here early while Lane Hosler out front by a big stretch. Ryan Pelfrey starting to close down a little bit as he works on Hosler. Jaberg continuing to look to the inside of Aaron Jackson. That's going to put Jackson down 2 spots in the early going here. Back out front, Hosler out front but only by about 3 car lengths. Pelfrey now closing in, drives a little deeper down into 3 and 4. Looking to make some hay off the corner there. Closes that gap within about half a car length. Pelfrey driving hard on entry, right to the bumper. Pelfrey looks to the left, looks to the right, nothing doing. Pelfrey's going to enter into 3 and 4 a little higher this time. That's going to give him some speed off the corner. He's going to open the wheel up. Ryan Pelfrey drives off turn 4 and drives around Lane Hosler to take the lead here. Nice run by Ryan Pelfrey to get the lead here early at Iowa. Cody Jaberg is settled into 3rd. Aaron Jackson's in 4th. Scott Formosa the top 5. Alan Marshall, Russ Despain, Steve Whitmore, Derek Grigsby, and Brian Torrey make up this full car field here as Pelfrey continues to lead, rolling off of turn 2. This track out here in Iowa, it can be technical at times. You've got to know how to navigate this track. Realize that the bumps are going to be playing a factor throughout the entire night. You've also got to keep the front end of the car on, because if you don't, Cody Jaberg disappears. Not sure what happened there. As they're battling back behind of Alan Marshall. Behind Russ Despain and Steve Whitmore, Derek Grigsby, as Jaberg comes back. He's back now, having some connectivity problems there out of Jaberg. Able to get back rolling here, or get back under a smooth connection, sitting 3rd. As I was talking about, you've got to know the nuances of this track, and you've got to take care of the tires. This is very much a high-speed short track. 24-second laps out of these drivers here tonight. It's going to fly by pretty quick, but on top of all of that, you've got to keep the tires underneath you, and such a small field and a high caliber of drivers likely to see or not likely to see a caution with this group here. And so that's going to really make you think about taking care of those right front tires. Aaron Jackson starting to feel some pressure. Formosa right down to the right side door. That's going to pinch Jackson down. No gain there for Formosa coming off the corner. Still side by side as they roll into 1. Jackson noses out half a car length through 1 and 2. He's going to drive off, but Formosa's going to have the RPM in that outside line. That's going to let him get back to the throttle a little quicker than Formosa, and Formosa's going to take that spot away. Back out front, Ryan Pelfrey, Lane Hoser sitting 1-2, but Hoser's not let Pelfrey get too far out front, but Cody Jayberg is also starting to get a little bigger in the rear view mirror. As Pelfrey leads early here at Iowa. While we've got the opportunity, let's ride on board a lap or two here around. Just out front the windshield there, Aaron Jackson's got this front four right in his teeth. Let's ride on board that 12 car as they work a couple laps here at Iowa. Jackson drives off the corner free and clear. Out front, though, it's becoming a bit of a three-way battle here for the lead. Pelfrey's going to have not only Lane Hoser to contend with on the outside, but here comes Cody Jayberg in the 21 looking underneath Hoser. He is looking to take that spot away. Jayberg drives down to the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see if he can make some hay down there. And he's going to move into that P2 spot, but I wouldn't be too worried here. If I was a Lane Hoser fan of that 61, he has been known to be able to save that tire, keep the car underneath him until he needs it. He's going to look back underneath Jayberg as Jayberg moves up to that middle line in 3 and 4, but no dice. But pay close attention to that 61 as he continues to work around here and let these drivers that may be driving a little bit more urgency, a little bit more grit, work on those Goodyears just a little bit more. Pelfrey's going to be in trouble because Jayberg is caught right up to him as they roll off a 3 and 4. And this may be another challenge for the lead here early at Iowa. Oh, Cody has a big wiggle there off of turn 2. That's going to bring Hoser back into the mix. Here comes Formosa as well. First time we've seen him up here battling with the top 3 since the start of the race. And he's looking out just out back of Hoser's rear view, and again started to get a little big there. Meanwhile, Ryan Pelfrey continues to run right down to that yellow line, all the way around 3 and 4 here to come back to the start-finish line. These drivers opening up the corner as much as they can. They want to get back to the throttle as much as possible, as quick as possible. And now Jayberg is going to open or walk through the door that Ryan Pelfrey left open. That's going to be a side-by-side battle down to 3 and 4. Pelfrey elects to go up a lane just above the first white striped line. He's going to hang on to that spot, but only by about a fender. Pelfrey enters high in 1 and 2. There's going to be a lot of bumps up there that's going to get that car snug. Cody Jayberg is going to drive around him on the inside, but he has a hard time getting it collected up. They're even as they roll into 3 and 4. Jayberg now is taking the Ryan Pelfrey line right on the bottom. Continued side-by-side battle here for the lead for the OSR Xfinity guys at Iowa on turn 1. Pelfrey continuing to hang on. Now, this is not an ideal situation for the 33 either. He is having to use quite a bit of tire here to put the car in places that likely he would not want to, and that is going to lead to tire wear. We are already talking from a tire wear perspective, a fall off of almost a full second here in just this handful of laps. As now Hoser's able to get around Jayberg. He's going to look to the inside of Pelfrey. And he's going to be right there alongside. Out of nowhere, the 61 moves up to battle for the top spot. Side by side as they roll out of 4. Pelfrey's able to hang on to that inside or that outside line. That gives him a little bit of an advantage. Jayberg and Hosler now side by side for second. This truly is that three-way battle for first. Meanwhile, you're not missing anything just behind this group except that Aaron Jackson has started to gather it up. As I've talked about, it's all about pacing yourself and being there, later in a green flag run. Well, Jackson has not gone anywhere, and he is sitting firmly in 5th at the moment. Hosler has slid back to P3 and has settled in. Again, not a need to really overdrive the car out of the 61 at this point. A couple wins on the season so far here with the OSR Xfinity Group and looking for another one. Meanwhile, this is a strong showing out of the 33 of Pelfrey, riding around in that top spot. And he's got Cody Jayberg just kind of poking his nose in and out. Now, this is going to be the question. How hard did that 33 car get driven here on these tires? And is that going to show? Is he going to experience a little bit more wear? We see a bunch of fire flying out of the side of the 21. That's Jayberg backing out of the throttle early. He needs to do that to be able to turn in on the bottom there. He got alongside the 33. Same again in 3 and 4. But it's all going to be about the drive off on corner exit here. And Jayberg is going to be in a position where he cannot open the wheel up. He can't let the car slide up the racetrack because he's trying to get by our leader, Ryan Pelfrey, in the 33. Side by side, continuing to battle here. This has pretty much been a continuation of the last 10-15 laps of many drivers up here up front. That's been between Pelfrey, Jayberg, and Hosler. Meanwhile, back behind them, no concerns. Jackson and Formosa is just waiting in the wings for a little bit of a slip up. Meanwhile, Jayberg now challenging once again underneath Pelfrey as they roll down to 3. Let's ride on board. Hosler, as he takes a lap or two here around Iowa with this battle happening right in front of him. Oh, right as Jayberg nearly has a big slip up there coming off the corner. Battle starting to pick up all over the racetrack. We see Aaron Jackson in the back there. Camera moved around Formosa. They're back to 4th. And then we saw Jayberg continuing to look underneath the 33. Pelfrey able to squeak back up front. They were in that position. Meanwhile, the 61 of Hosler making it look pretty easy. I promise you that looked a lot tamer than it can and is around this racetrack here. As Jayberg opens up the corner a little early, he has to check down before he makes contact with the wall. Hosler takes to the deep bottom here in 3 and 4. And again, I think this is a testament to the 61 and his ability to keep the car underneath him. No reason to push it No reason to hustle a car really in any type of way as Jaybird looks back underneath Pelfrey for the lead. Lane knows he's got speed. We saw him slice and dice his way through there just a few laps ago. So we know he's got the speed. No reason to push the issue here. As they work around 1 and 2. It's a three-way race for the lead here as they roll off 3 and 4. Pelfrey, Jayberg, Hosler 1, 2, 3. Jackson sitting 4th, Scott Formosa sitting 5th, Russ Despain sitting 6th, Steve Whitmore 7th, Derek Grigsby 8 right now. Brian Torrey and Alan Marshall's fallen all the way back to 10th here, down 4 spots. It's qualifying, and we're seeing a little bit of an attack here happen back behind the 33 of Pelfrey. That was Jayberg went to the high line, Hoser went to the low line. They split everything. They're coming out of 3 and 4. Jayberg nearly makes contact with the rear bumper of the 33. He's going to back off and then drive down on the inside. He's going to look underneath our leader once again. But it's not going to have anything there. I believe we had a car. Was that, nope, maybe not. I thought we had a car maybe spun down on the inside, but nope, everybody's free and clear, rolling here. Pelfrey now starting to feel the pressure by the 61 of Hoser, who was able to get by Cody Jayberg. This is where Hoser starts to shine just a little bit. Last time by for Pelfrey was a 25.67. Hoser picked that up 2/10. Behind him this time by a 25.56 and a 25.46 to a 10th faster for the 61. And now he's going to start looking on the outside of Pelfrey. He may be in a little bit of trouble here. We've seen these tires start to wear as we run past lap 30 or so. Pelfrey going to dive to the inside of the 61. Trying to take advantage of that door opening once again, but not going to be able to do so. Pelfrey's going to survive another lap as he is free and clear, rolling into 3. This is, again, a strong showing out of Ryan Pelfrey here tonight in the 33. Looking pretty sharp up front, minding his P's and Q's, not really putting the car in any drastic position. Remember, he qualified back there in 4th place, drove up front early, and I won't say Hoser gave that spot away, but Lane knows the name of the game is going to be tires here in the smaller field now. Those two running basically identical lines through 3 and 4. And Hoser just right there on the bumper, pushing the 33. And now he's going to be to the inside. This very well is going to be the change for the lead. I was about to say, I think it's about to happen right here. The 61, oh, they're going to slide job it up a little bit of a crossover. The 61 got tight, had to go to the outside. Pelfrey's going to look to the inside. Off of 3 and 4 they go. Hoser, though, is going to have the RPM. He's going to swing it way out wide to get back to the throttle. This has been a strong fight for the lead for the last 20 laps. Pelfrey's going to edge out on the bottom. Hoser's going to have the outside line. Pelfrey's not going to be able to shut the door. Down into 3 and 4. It is an even race. We're going to see Hoser nose out, but can he get clear and shut down the 33? He's going to lead Hoser. A 61 car gets clear and is your new leader here at Iowa. Remember, he started on the pole, fell back fairly quick, didn't want to push the issue too much. I got the impression now Pelfrey's going to have to just hang on. This is what I was talking about a little while ago. You've got to be really cognizant of the tire wear and what you're going to be doing or what you did to those tires. Over the race period, and really taking care of those good years on these cars. Again, not expected to see a ton of cautions here tonight. As for Moza, he's actually sitting back there at 10th. He came down pit road there on lap 39. as Hosler continues his trek, leading here last time by at 25:47. Pelfrey at 29:30 or 25:39. So those two drivers still running right close to the same lap times, a couple hundred separating them. But the 61 now out front. Alan Marshall's coming down pit road to the attention of his crew for tires and fuel for the first time here tonight at Iowa. One of the biggest things here at these racetracks is also consistency. And if you're the driver of the 70, you're back here a little further back off the pace. You're not with the leaders, and you've got to really keep your head in the game, even if you're not up there racing. So let's ride on board with him a couple laps as he takes on Iowa and trying to find a rhythm here at this famed short track. Some of you may be asking what that pass right there was for. That was Scott Formosa coming around Steve Whitmore. That's not for position. Formosa's still a lap down, but that's just the difference those new tires are making as Marshall's having to come back down the pit road. But that's just the difference those new tires making. Right now, Scott Formosa doing 24.8s, 24.7 lap times. Meanwhile, Whitmore 25.6s. That is just the power of those new tires. Now Ryan Pelfrey hustling back up front. We missed that lead change. Now Hosler looking back to the inside. Hosler may have a little bit of a challenge here tonight in the 33 of Ryan Pelfrey as they work across the start-finish line. Pelfrey takes it high. Hosler is low. Working off the corner. I saw Cody Jayberg. That was a big catch out of the 21. Back into the rear of the camera there. Jayberg swerved to the inside. That car got a little snug on that driver. A little loose on that driver when he came out of turn 2. He had to chase it down to the apron quite a bit. Aaron Jackson now right there on the bumper. Russ Despain starting to close in. And by the way, here comes Formosa again on those new Goodyears. Jackson's going to challenge Jayberg right to the inside. Formosa's going to drive up here with a ton of pace, but really not a ton of place to go. Jackson's not going to get that pass completed, but he's going to drive across the bumper of the 21, maybe try to get it done there as Formosa says, no, sir, let me drive through here. I am way faster. And he's going to get by. Oh, they're going to make contact with Jackson. Formosa loops it around. And that's going to bring the caution out for the first time here at Iowa. And that looked like Formosa just was not quite clear. We're going to step aside for just a moment, and we'll be right back with more racing action. You're watching Turn 1. Getting ready to go back. Green flag racing here on lap 61. Ryan Pelfrey, Lane Hosler, Russ Despain, and Cody Jayberg. Your top 4. Steve Whitmore, 5th. Aaron Jackson had to get some damage repaired. He's sitting back in 6th at the moment. Brian Torrey, Derek Grigsby, Scott Formosa is working to catch back up, and Alan Marshall's going to round out your top 10. Pelfrey had a decent stop on pit road. That's going to keep him up front. Russ Spade also had a decent stop. That got him up here towards the front and an opportunity to compete. We're going to see how this all shakes out. The first restart of the night coming here as they work to complete lap 60. Pace car down pit road. Pelfrey in the restart zone. Green flag back out. New tires for everybody. And we're back rolling here at Iowa. Pelfrey gets clear. Cody Jayberg, Lane Hosler side by side. This very well could be the only time we see them come down pit road here tonight. They can make it the rest of the way on fuel as Jayberg's going to shut the door on the 61. Lane's going to drive it pretty hard all the way down the front stretch here. The Spain, Whitmore, they're battling side by side as they roll through 1 and 2. Oh, Hosler looks like he nearly makes contact with the wall. The same with Derek Grigsby. Formosa right there in the rear view. He's looking for an opportunity to squeeze by. Brian Torrey's right there as well. But Ryan Pelfrey, the star of the show here tonight, has led a good portion of the lap so far. Qualified 4th. A strong showing out of the 33. Jayberg is settled in. We have not seen him lead too many laps here tonight, and none consistently. We'll have to pay close attention and see what he can get done on the racetrack before it's all said and done. Back behind Russ to Spade, that says Whitmore and Jackson. Jackson involved in that first caution that came out about 8 laps ago. Making contact, Formosa checking up. It was a little bit of a crowded traffic situation. Fortunately, Jackson had the nose clipped off of him a little there. Looks like he's got that 12 hot rod back up and running. Jackson Pelfrey now feeling the pressure from the 21. That's Jayberg. And if you're in the headspace of the 33, you obviously want to be here. You want to compete at a high level. You want to lead laps as Cody Jayberg is going to squeeze by. But if you're the 33 car, you know Hosler's going to be the fastest guy in the top 4. Your competition here tonight. Do you, as a driver, pass the 30, or do you let the 21 go, knowing that he can back right back up to you? You've been fast the first half of this race. Clearly, you've got some speed. Is there really a point in pushing too hard? Maybe that's part of the equation for the 33. As Cody Jayberg is leading the first laps of the night here at Iowa, for the Ohio Sim Racing Group, live on Turn 1. Hello, I'm Sean Pitts. Thanks so much for being here. Glad to have you watching this race. Back here, this is a back battling around that 5th place spot. That's Russ Spade in 4th. Steve Whitmore, Aaron Jackson, 4th through 6th, dicing it up here as they roll down the front stretch. And it looks like Ryan Pelfrey, he's going to have a little bit of drama in the rear view, because Hosler now is going to dive to the inside. Pelfrey's out front by about a 1.2 second gap. That's the biggest gap we've seen of our leader tonight. Maybe some different handling characteristics for the 33 that he's battling in head hot rod. Hosler's going to look down to the inside of Jayberg. Hosler's going to look down to the inside of Ryan Pelfrey. We saw a very similar situation where Hosler last run didn't fire off so well. He actually fell all the way back to 3rd and drove back up front, and he was battling alongside the 2 other drivers for the lead for the first half of this race. Now Ryan Pelfrey driving a little bit more defensively as the laps start to wind down here. Cody Jayberg, meanwhile, he's up front. Over 2 second gap. as they work across the start finish line here, lap 71. And it is traffic jam down in the top 5. All of a sudden, this to Spain right here. Hoser's going to look inside of Pelfrey. He's not going to let that last too long. Hoser's going to drive down to the inside, use some of that tire equity he's got built up in that 61. But Pelfrey's not going to let him go. Meanwhile, Jackson and Despain battling side by side. Just behind him again. This is for that 4th place spot. And then Jackson now, he's going to have Whitmore and Brian Torrey right there he's got to think about. Leighton Hoser, though, is able to squeeze by here lap number 72. A nice run here for Leighton Hoser, Ryan Pelfrey, Aaron Jackson, and Cody Jayberg out 2.3 over Leighton Hoser. We'll watch this to lap times just a little bit in this interval and see how much this shrinks. But right now, they are running dead even lap times. 1/100 separated Jayberg and Hoser as they roll across the line. This time Jayberg ran a 24.88. Hoser picked it up a notch, a 24.73, so over a tenth faster, but that interval really hasn't changed a whole lot between those two, 2.3 seconds. We'll have to continue watching that as Ryan Pelfrey has settled into that 3rd place position. Aaron Jackson, Russ to Spain, sitting in the top 5. Let's ride on board to Spain in the 50 cars. He works the closing laps here, already past lap 75 at Iowa. Out front, Cody Jayberg rides free and clear. 3 seconds, 3.8 seconds over Leighton Hoser. What a wild gap Jayberg has built over the last couple laps as we work to complete lap number 80. Ryan Pelfrey continues to be the locomotive at the front of the train, but Aaron Jackson is working to make that make hit car move up to that top 3 spot. Scott Formosa hits pit road for what could be his final service. Meanwhile, it is all Cody Jayberg out front. Again, 3.8 seconds. He is just turning exit here, coming across. Let's actually look at this. He is coming down to the start-finish line, crossing right now, while Hoser's just coming out of turn number 4. That's the advantage Jayberg got, and was able to get away from Cody Jayberg. Or Cody Jayberg, rather, the advantage is able to get away from Hoser once that pass happened. Meanwhile, Aaron Jackson continuing to battle here at Pelfrey. Pelfrey is binding his P's and Q's here, not overdriving the car. This is a little different for the 33 here tonight. We don't see him really overstepping the car or hustling the car really in any way. And that's turned into a good handful of laps led, but we also see maybe a little bit of faster traffic around him at times. That is starting to spread out, but at one point, or a couple points rather, we've seen a bottleneck of cars sitting right behind that 33. We don't get a chance to do this too often. Let's turn a lap or two here on board with Brian Torrey as he works lap 84. Jaybird continues to lead here, lap 91. Some 3.9 seconds out front of Hoser. Ryan Pelfrey settled in here to that third place spot. Jackson fourth, Russ to Spain. Steve Whitmore, Brian Torrey, Derek Grigsby, your top 8. As the laps continue to wind down here on turn 1. Thanks so much for tuning in. I'm Sean Fitz. Ohio Sim Racing takes on the Iowa Speedway here for the Xfinity Series. Appreciate you tuning in. Still a little bit of a traffic jam back here behind Ryan Pelfrey, but nobody really able to challenge and work around that 33 car. One car, though, on rails. That's Cody Jaybird. We saw him really hustle the 21 that first segment. I believe it was, the first 55 or so laps before the first and only caution of the night came out. Jaybird was really pushing the car up underneath Ryan Pelfrey quite a bit, inside and outside, both ends of the racetrack. Looked like he had some really decent pace. And right now, backing into that pace here is the 21. As he is leading some laps here tonight at Iowa. You know, another car to really think about is the 61. You know, we talked about it just a little bit. He fell off pretty hard there. He led some laps, but Jayberg was able to run around him, run by him. And that biggest gap of the night we've seen was nearly 3.9 seconds. Now, Hoser has tightened that gap up ever so slightly. 3.7. Really decent run here the last couple laps out of Hosler. A 25-29 last time by for, 25-36 for Hosler. Cody Jayberg, a 25-33 as we work lap 96. And running out of laps to get up there. At this rate, we stay green. Jayberg out front. If he were to even lose 0.2 of a second a lap, it would be very close if Hoser could even get to him. And right now, that gap is maintaining. Well, just saw a 3.5, 3.6. So maybe we're starting to see Hoser pick it up a little bit. We certainly are seeing that gap back to Ryan Pelfrey starting to grow. Pelfrey sitting third here, and Jackson sitting fourth. We see Jayberg head off into 3 and 4. It definitely looks like that car is starting to slow down just a little bit. A 25.4 last time by, with Cody Jayberg rated 25.30, and that gap now has shrunk down to 3.3 seconds. This is going to wrap up lap 99 as he rolls out of 3 and 4. He's going to have 25 to go here at Iowa. And again, it's going to be all about maintaining. Had one of the biggest leads that we've seen all night tonight. That was about right at the 4-second mark, just about 10 laps to go. But now, that gap now shrinking quickly, 3.2 seconds. Can Cody Jayberg, how long can he hang on? And how fast can Lane Hoser get here? We know he's got a couple wins. One of arguably the fastest driver in the field here. Can Hoser get up there and get by Jayberg? Oh, and Cody's going to have to come down pit road. A pit stop for the 21. I don't know. Clearly, he did not have enough fuel to make it all the way to the end. This is going to be catastrophic for the 21. We'll see if anybody else has to come down pit road. Will the 61 have to come down and pick up fuel? We'll find out. As Jayberg's going to go a lap down. He's not even to the box yet. There he goes, sliding in now as our leader drives by. Pelfrey's going to move up to that second place position. Aaron Jackson runs to Spain. Steve Whitmore now in the top 5. Hoser continues to lead here, and his gap not really growing, but not really increasing either. Not really growing or decreasing. Just a 1.5 second lead over Ryan Pelfrey. Aaron Jackson sitting in that P3 spot here. A good night out of the 12 car. This is what I would argue Aaron Jackson's favorite racetrack. I've known Aaron for many years, as most of you know. And this racetrack has just played right to his specialty. He really likes these technical braking short tracks. He's found a home here. He's had a ton of top 5s and ton of top 10s here at Iowa, and certainly can put on a show. And right now, doing so, obviously started second, sitting in that third place spot. Has been in the top 5 all night tonight. Hasn't really competed for the lead too much, but doesn't need to. This is Aaron Jackson's pace. Running consistent races as much as he possibly can. Unfortunately, got tangled up in that first caution that came out around lap 54. Right now, Aaron Jackson sitting third, just under 20 laps to go. Unfortunately, something happened to Cody Jayberg. He came down pit road. I don't think that was planned. Jayberg come down pit road, and now he is gone. He is no longer in this session. What looked like a really strong 21 car had a chance for the win here tonight is no more. Cody Jayberg will not finish tonight's 125 laps here at Iowa for the Ohio Sim Racing Group. We've got another opportunity here as these laps continue to wind down. Let's ride on board. We've not rode on board with Derek Grigsby. We talked about just being consistent, even when you're not racing around others, how you've got to keep your head in the game. Well, Derek's trying to get that done here as the laps continue to wind down. Working lap 113 of 125 here in Iowa. Lane Hoser continues to lead Ryan Pelfrey. Russ Despain was able to squeeze by Aaron Jackson for fourth. Now he's going to get by Ryan Pelfrey as Pelfrey looks like he makes contact with the wall. Aaron Jackson's going to look underneath him and take that spot while the getting's good. Not going to get clear of him, and unfortunately, Jackson not able to shut the door on that spot. He's going to settle back into fourth while we saw Russ Despain really put the hammer down as Pelfrey got tight on corner exit. And that allowed Despain to move up to P2 here in that 50 car. That's a good 5-spot gain on the 50 Ford Mustang of Russ Despain, making it look pretty easy here tonight at Iowa. He's been hanging around in that top 5 roll, top 5th, 6th, 7th. Battling some of these guys towards the rear, kept the car clean. Now on his way to a top 3 finish here at Iowa. Jackson and Pelfrey continue to battle here pretty close. Jackson now looking to the high line here as we are going to come to the stripe. 9 to go at Iowa. And Pelfrey, that car is starting to look a little free. He had to chase it again down to the racetrack. Jackson's into the wall. Unfortunate incident here. Working lap 116, Aaron Jackson makes contact with the wall. And he's going to lose another spot. That's Steve Whitmore. He's going to squeeze by. Jackson's going to try to hang on to it. Unfortunately, this could affect, while this track is short, there's a little bit of an aero factor. And Aaron Jackson maybe feeling that pinch now. With that right side damage, that right front wrinkled. Meanwhile, Hosler out front, 1.2 now over Russ Despain. Despain's actually turned to wick up quite a bit here. Last time by a 25-44. Even lap times with Hosler. That gap, 1.2 seconds, not enough to run him down here as they work lap 8, 118, just under 7 to go at Iowa. Ryan Pelfrey, he is started to pull away just a little bit on Jackson. Jackson still feeling the pressure. Steve Whitmore right there on the bumper. Off of turn 4 they come. These lap times, there are these laps flying by at this rate. 25-second laps, and we're closing in on the last one. Looks like Despain was able to run down Lane Holzer by a 10th last time by, but that's not going to be enough. You got to close it just a little bit tighter each and every lap. Last time by, a 25:35 for Despain, a 25:36 for Hosler. Even lap times as that gap now right about an even second. Gonna come across the stripe here. This will be the 4 to go signal for Lane Hosler. It's starting to get a little racy back here around that fourth place spot. That's Despain. I'm sorry. That's Pelfrey sitting at third. Aaron Jackson overcoming that wall contact, wanting that spot. But Steve Whitmore is right here as well, waiting for somebody to slip up and open the door as the laps continue to wind down. No pressure out front. Hosler continues to lead by a full second as they come back to the stripe. This is going to be the 2 to go signal right there. Despain, last time by 25:27. Hosler 25:42. But the gap is right there, right around 9/10. Can Despain close 9/10 of a second in just 2 laps? Well, it's not even 2 full laps at this rate. Hosler brings him down. White flag one more time around here at Iowa. An impressive season, an impressive run, one of talent and endurance. Hosler has kept the right sides on that car. Man, it's just difficult to get around racetrack here at Iowa. And he's going to come all the way back down to the front stretch. And there you have it. Lane Hosler is going to be your winner here tonight at Iowa. Ryan Pelfrey, Aaron Jackson, Steve Whitmore, your top 5. Then it's Derek Grigsby, Brian Torrey. Unfortunately, Cody Chamber is going to finish 8th. Alan Marshall and Scott Formosa, your top 10. So congratulatory door bumps here out of the rest of the field as Lane Hosler comes out of 3 and 4. What a great run by the 61. His 5th victory of the season for the OSR Xfinity Series. He's going to burn them down here at Iowa, and we're going to leave you with that. On behalf of the league admins, I'm Sean Fitz. We appreciate you being here. Lane Hosler wins again for OSR. Good night, everybody.